Anyway. All right, cool. Ready? So now I get to tell you guys about my favorite contest of all time. It's what I've been waiting to tell you about for 2 days. Wouldn't it be cool? What? What was it? Oh, you're responding. All right, cool. So wouldn't it be cool if there was like a shorter way to your fast start prize? Who'd be excited about that? Anybody? Yeah. Wow, most excited training class ever. Cool. Well, anyway, so put everything away except a pen. So Philippe, I see your paper there. Put it away. Do not open your binder. Jeremy, that is just awful. Put everything away. Pens only. Cheyenne, don't give me the stink eye. Pens only, okay? So now, if you remember the sheet that I passed around earlier today, the one that you wrote your schedule on, does anybody remember what was at the bottom of it? Anybody? No? Right, exactly, Paul. Yeah, it says if you know anybody looking for work, go ahead and put their number down here. We're looking to build a championship team. Now, some of you wrote down a couple. Some of you wrote down one or two. Some of you really didn't write anybody at all. But what are all the reasons why you wouldn't just empty out your whole entire cell phone on that little paper? What was that? Papa John's is in there? Okay. Why else wouldn't you empty out your whole cell phone? Anybody? You're okay, so random people. How many of your friends already have a job? Is that anybody in here? Maybe that, yeah? Your friends that, I totally get that. Yeah, for sure. What about if you have some of those friends that might make you look bad? We all have that one friend in your cell phone. You don't even know how you got associated with them. You all know what I'm talking about, that one friend. Maybe you were forced to be their friend growing up. Know what I mean? So what about, it's really hard to explain the job. Like, you guys tried at one point to a friend of yours, and they were like, what the heck are you about to do? You don't really feel like explaining the job to your friend. Yep, that's a reason. What about you're kind of scared that your friend might steal your customers? Did anybody think of that one? I remember I thought of that when I was brand new. But the biggest reason why you didn't recommend your friends or empty out your whole entire cell phone is because there was no incentive, right? I wasn't like, hey, write this down, I'll give you $1,000, right? So that's the main reason why you didn't do it. I didn't even mention it. You were probably more worried about scheduling your own appointments, much less worrying about your friends, right? Know what I mean? Cool. So for your friends that already have a job, does anybody know what I was doing before I actually started working Cutco? You guys remember that from yesterday? No?
Something that sucks.
Yeah, I was scooping horse poop. So I used to work on a ranch. Yeah, it was awesome. Not really. I hated it. So I used to wake up every Saturday morning at 4 a.m. I was at the ranch by 5:45 in the morning. I would take out all the horses, you know, clean the stables, put the hay, wash the horses, train the horses, deal with little kids. It was awful. Like 4 of my friends worked in Cutco, and not one person recommended me because I already had a job. Then this girl that I hadn't spoken to in 2.5 years actually recommended me to the job randomly. She only recommended like a couple people, and I happened to be on the list. And so they gave me a call, and I finally came in for an interview, and here I am today. Also, show of hands one more time. How many of you thought about your friends might steal your customers? Anybody? Cool. Yep. And even if you have the same friends, by the way, you have different families, so you're going to end up in different circles. And about your friends that make you look bad, show of hands, who has those people on your phone one more time? Yeah. So I remember in 2012, I had this rep, Stefan Diaz. Actually, I knew him from high school. And I knew a lot of the people he had recommended. He emptied out his cell phone in training, guys. He recommended over 500 people. Do you guys think I had time to call 500 people? No. So, but he really wanted to win this contest. So me and like 4 other assistant managers sat down and split his list. I happened to be handling the section that was like L through Z. We finally get to the M's. I get to this one name on the list. He's like, don't call that guy. I knew who he was. I actually knew him in high school. Probably that person that would make you look bad. Not because he came from the bad side of town, but just because the way he acted was, you know, a little bit out there. So he's like, no, don't call him. I was like, seriously, Stefan, I'm sitting here. I've already called like 100 people from your list. I'm just going to call this one person. If he wants to come in, cool. If not, whatever. We're not going to judge you. Call him. He comes in for an interview. Super cocky. How many have a friend that's just like super cocky where it's rude? Yeah, that was him. He comes to training. While he's in training, points at Kathy, guys. Imagine this. Hopefully. You're that guy. You're that guy I'm talking about right now. I'm just kidding. So this guy's so cocky. He comes to training, right? Looks at Kathy, points at her, and says, so how do I get your job? And everybody was like, whoa, all right, settle down. You're like not even past your first day. Anyway, long story short, he schedules 20 appointments his first weekend. Guess how much he sold? Well, 19 of them canceled, and he only completed one. He sold about $200, but then he came back to advanced training. He was humbled a little bit, I guess, by his experience. He ended up having an $11,997 fast start. His star is right up there on the wall, Mario. Now, by the way, without Mario's $11,997, we still would have hit our goal for the year because we sold well over $2 million, which was our goal. But without Mario, we wouldn't have gotten his friends. Mario also emptied out his cell phone, probably recommended over 1,200 people when it was all said and done. He had over 13 friends start the job, and him and his friends and their sales and that whole chain added up to over 400, probably over $500,000 in sales. So even though Mario's sales personally wouldn't have mattered what he sold, his friend's sales definitely made an impact, and him being recommended, that one phone call made an impact. By the way, something I didn't mention is a lot of your friends might be people whose parents just pay for everything. Anybody have those friends? If their parents pay for everything, they really don't think they need a job. How many of those people are going to need experience after college, like on their resume? All of them, right? Well, we actually have something called our National Rep Team Builder Award. This is a really prestigious award. Not many people get in Vector, and it's about building the team. Companies will see you more tied into them when they see that you won this award on your resume and helping build a team, which means you have a corporate vision and you're excited about helping grow the organization. So people are going to want to have you in their organization because you're going to want to grow their organization as well. Besides all those things, like I mentioned, the biggest two reasons are there were no incentive and you had enough trouble explaining the job to your parents. You didn't really want to explain it to their friend. Now, here's the thing. We actually do the explaining part for you. And we're not the only company that gives you a bonus for this, by the way. Has anybody here ever worked a job before where you got a bonus for recommending somebody to the job? Or has anybody ever joined a gym or a bank or maybe even DirecTV where you refer somebody and they give you something back? How many of you know what I'm talking about? You ever see those DirecTV commercials with Benjamin Franklin's head, because they recommended their friend and they get like $100 towards the next bill? It's kind of the same thing here, all right? Now, Kathy spends a lot of money putting out advertisements for people to work because, as you can imagine, the more people we have on our team, the better we're going to do, the more sales we're going to generate, and the better the office is going to be all around. So she spends, just this summer alone, over $50,000 random number on advertising this semester to get more qualified applicants on the team. Sometimes they really aren't the best people, okay? Sometimes they aren't like you. So it doesn't mean we don't get great people from it. We do, but it really is hard to find quality people. Have you guys ever heard of the saying, birds of a feather flock together? Yeah, so it means if I like you, I may like your friends too. So instead of continuously spending money on all these advertisements that may or may not generate people, I'd rather just multiply you. I mean, if I could put you in a cloning machine, I would. Unfortunately, that's illegal. So instead, we have you recommend your friends. Now, there is a little bit of incentive. You guys want to hear what that is? Yeah? All right, cool, awesome. And by the way, I just keep asking until they get excited. So like I said, pen out only. And I would go through all the levels, by the way, which we'll go through with Kathy. I'm going to pass around a paper. Don't write anyone on it just yet. No cheating. This is a contest, so you don't want to start. Kyle, put your pen down. I saw you pick up your pen. Just leave it on the table. This is no cheating contest, okay? So go ahead and write your name on the top. Once you write your name on the top, look up and put your pen down so I know that you're done. Okay, great. So I have a couple of rules for you all. Number one, I'm going to spread you guys out. So Kyle, just bring your chair to the front. Jeremy, chair to the front. Daniel Lee, way in the back, face the wall. Don't even look at me. Turn your chair around. Number two is no talking. This is a silent activity. So once you guys are finished, you may study your pages 8 and 9 or 15, okay? Rule number 3 is no one under 17 and no one over 30. I mean, they're just really not people that we're looking to have on our team unless you think they'd be like really good and excited about it. Number 4 is if you have a question, just come up to my desk quietly. This is a silent activity. I am going to be working on some important stuff concerning your pay, so you definitely don't want to just yell something out and disturb my concentration. I'd rather you just come up here, tap me on the shoulder, and whisper whatever your question is going to be. And so put your pens in the air, no cheating, on your marks, get set, go. Boom, that's it. Any questions? So with the levels, by the way, it just depends on what we're going to be doing divisionally, I guess, for the summer. But it's usually like a 3, 5, 7, 10 contest, the 10 being the cruise. So you kind of build it up the same way you would the fast start. And then you can also do, in 1 second. So I also do levels sometimes where I'll like extend their fast start or double certain fast start days for the amount of people they recommend. Generally, I do, if you recommend 40 people, I build up a vector pen and I literally give away a vector pen and get them excited about getting a vector pen. At 60, I'll double whatever they sell that day. 80, I'll do today and the next day. 100, I'll do the whole first weekend. And if they give me over 150, I'll let them pick their 3 biggest days of their fast start. And I only count those prizes. I only count it up to actual Cutco prizes. I won't let them win limo night or obviously the region annual region trip for recommending their friends. So they can win all the Cutco they want, but they can't win the limo night or the trip. Jacob?
Okay, so the big thing for me, are they actually writing it out on the PR sheets? Have you integrated Ava?
Good question. The app, yeah. So good question. Recently I have been doing the app over writing. Writing for me for a really long time, I really get the same average with either one. I mean, Ryan was in a training class where I think I averaged about literally like 195 people per head, and they all did it handwritten. I don't know if you remember that, but you. Oh, we did half and half, I think, actually. I don't know, because I had a written list from your class too. Sometimes I'll have them write their top 30 list, and then I'll do the app, or I'll do the app and then top 30. It's really what you feel most confident with. At this point, you don't really have too much time to test it before the summer. So I would say for organizational purposes, do the app. And with the app, what I do is before Fast Start Talk, like when there's a break or something, I'll have them download GroupMe and the Vector Personal Recruit app. I'll put it on the board and I'll say, hey guys, download this real quick. We're gonna need it in a minute. And I tell them the GroupMe app, you're gonna have to keep forever and ever this summer. And the Vector Personal Recruit, you'll be able to delete later. Don't try to log in. I'll give you directions later on. Now, a little note is when you do the app, you want to make sure that you've already given them their rep number, because they're going to need that to log in. And it's a mess if you like do this whole amazing talk and then they're trying to log into the app and you have 50 people like, Mary Lou, what's my rep number? What's my rep number? What's my rep number? You just want to like kill them because they're ruining the silence of the room. And if you don't keep the silence, by the way, they actually recommend less people. So if the room's quieter, they can just focus on what they're doing. And they'll want to be done quicker because silence is awkward. So.
Straight up silence? Do you have any music playing?
No, never. I never put any music at all. It's just straight up silence when you do the app, it actually takes less time. So I do like it because it gives me more time to do other things. But I do leave it in complete silence. When I have played music, I put it like super low where literally probably only I can hear it, and I play it for my own sanity, and it'll be something really chill, like John Mayer Gravity, like that kind of chill, you know? No like chill step or whatever you all listen to, whatever. So any other questions, by the way? Well, there's a couple things that if you've never done a PR talk before, probably didn't stand out to you, but are really important. Number one is you constantly want to repeat the phrase emptying out the cell phone, because psychologically later on when they go to the Vector Live app, what do you think their brain's going to tell them to do? Empty out their cell phone, right? That's what you want. So just make sure that you constantly say that line over and over again. I found over time that the more I say that, the more likely it is they're going to do it. And when I haven't said it at all, I don't really average as many. So that's something that'll increase your average. For sure, just by following this, you'll average 80, but doing those extra things is what's going to get you to the hundreds, 150. I can confidently say I average over 100 every time. Definitely over 80 for sure. So emptying out the cell phone is one huge thing. And number two is, I know it takes a while in the beginning, but handling all those objections are really, 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 really important, okay? Especially the one that I left out of the script but inserted later on, and I don't think that's the one that got sent to you, so make sure you write this in, is their friends who mom and dad pay for everything. that objection is huge because those are your top kids, by the way. And a lot of people won't put those friends on the list because mom and dad pay for everything. Okay, so essentially your rich kids, your sharp kids, your private school kids that you want to be PR to you, you're not going to get them unless you ask for them and handle that objection beforehand. So, so it's just when I said here, and by the way, how many of you, you know, your friends, their mom and dad pay for everything? You're like, oh, me, whatever. You're like, and you agree with them, by the way. You're like, yeah, right, those friends, they feel like they're entitled. They don't need to work, whatever. You're like, but by the way, how many of them are going to need jobs in the future? And everybody's like, well, yeah, they are going to need jobs. How many of them are going to need experience for their resume? Yeah, I guess everybody. Yeah, so this is the best experience possible for a college student, XYZ, whatever, build their resume up, yada, yada, yada. Cool. And then the last thing with the PR talk, it escaped me. Damn. All right, told you guys, empty up. Mom and dad pay for everything. Oh, and the other thing that helps you get a lot of names is don't do the PR talk at a time where there's low excitement or like training's already been dragged on. So typically before my fast start talk, which comes right before PR talk, I have them go on a quick break, make sure they had a bite to eat or something. And even if you're running behind on time, like this is going to help you increase the amount of names that you get. Having them take a quick break, just making sure that they're fully focused and paying attention. And also, don't mess up your PR talk, okay? You don't have to give this overly excited, like, hurrah, hurrah, like you get all these prizes thing. Like you can, you know, get your excitement across in other ways, but make sure that they are excited about their prizes. Don't downplay any prize, by the way. This is huge for your PR talk, especially like the dinner fork. A lot of times the managers will joke about it in their fast start talk, like, and when you make your first sale, you win a dinner fork, and they make it sound all funny. I get really serious about it. I'm like, guys, do you understand what this could do for your business? Have you guys seen our flatware? And they're like, oh, no. I'm like, cool. Go to your blue book. Go to this page. Yeah, look at the flatware. Isn't it amazing? Do you know how much that chest is? That's blank amount in CPO. That means you're going to increase your average order by at least, I don't know, $100 every time. How many of you would want an extra, you know, 10 to 100? And if you're at Dirty 30, $300 on your paycheck. Is that anybody? And they're like, me. And I'm like, yeah, so who wants a dinner fork? And they're all like, me, I want one. So, but I know it sounds stupid, by the way, but if you don't build up the prizes, then there's no point in the PR talk because your incentive with the PR talk is basically doubling up the prizes.
Okay, so would you recommend taking the structure you've laid out and putting in our own story?
Yeah.
Making it sound like us and not you?
Yeah, no, for sure. So this is just a really good, I guess, outline, and a lot of this stuff I got from other people, which is why it says like Smallwood and Kate on the top. But I basically took their structure and like Mary Lou will fight it, like put my stories in. But you put your own stories in, and you guys might even have better stories than me. If you don't have stories, you can use the ones on here or talk to somebody that used to be a manager in your area, or you know, you can say, and by the way, guys, there was this guy, you know, Kyle, who started in our division and XYZ, whatever, and you can just use the divisional name. And you can do that for anything, by the way. Whatever you want to promote, if you don't have that in your office, promote it somewhere else and just call it a division thing. Any other questions about the PR talk in terms of timing, execution, content? We good? Okay, cool. So now we're going to role play the approach. And by the way, feel free to insert your own story there. And if you don't have a story, you can just read that. Cool? So partner up and let us role play. So get with your partner. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Pandora, you suck.
Seresto makes it easy to help you protect your face with the performance you expect from one style in a non-greasy color. Seresto heals and repels face and takes for 8 inches months.
You want to know? Who doesn't have a partner? We have like 5 members. Cheyenne. Go play with us. Can you go play with Cheyenne?
Hey, Kat. Only thing I didn't do in the PR talk was, oh, look, I didn't cancel my. I didn't.